Welcome to the Creative Tools Podcast. My name is Ashay, and I'm immensely passionate about using technology for creativity. On this podcast, I talk to various creators about what tools and technology they use to be creative. My guest today is Marietta Cohen. Marietta is a watercolor artist. She says her biggest inspiration is the nature surrounding us all. The joy of painting nature in a spontaneous and intuitive way makes her discover new things each time, translating to bright and cheerful pieces of art. Her use of contrast colors instead of natural ones brings surprise in each common landscape or flower painting that she creates.
Hello, Marietta. Thanks a lot for visiting my podcast.
Hi, I'm very honored to talk to you about my art and share with the audience how I'm creating.
Great. Thanks a lot. So let's jump right in. My first question for you is, what do you create?
I create paintings. I work with acrylics. I work with watercolor, and then I'm using all those creations for another product.
Oh, okay. What do you mean? Which product?
So I can print my paintings on paper, and also I can print them on fabric. I'm creating t-shirts. I'm creating pillows. There are many websites that you can send your file, and then they print for you and receive the final product.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then the original paintings that you make, are they like physical paintings that you could touch, or they are digital creations?
Usually I start creating like create paper or canvas art. Sometimes I scan that and I work on the computer. I may change colors, I may change sizes, and then I continue with the digital file.
Okay.
But
So, but you,
always start with like
always start with something physical in front of you.
physical. Yes, yes.
Okay, great. All right. So what I want to discuss in this interview is in three sections. One is the pre-creation part. So before you start creating, what happens, then the actual creation part, and the post-creation part. So what happens after you paint. So let's talk about the pre-creation, and what my specific questions are around inspiration. So how do you receive the inspiration for your creations? How do you record them? And how do you retrieve them when you want to use them for your creation?
Okay, good questions. So my paintings are mostly inspired by nature and things around me. So I don't create fantasies or like something abstract that has another meaning. It's mostly things that people are familiar with them. So sometimes there are internet images that I use, but I don't use the image. I use what I what association or something that connected to me. So I use the idea and I'm translating this to my art. So it's not that I'm taking picture, I'm copying it. Sometimes I can see a colors that I really like, and I'll do something completely different that it's not related to what I saw.
Hmm.
So everything is happening in my mind, and sometimes I see things and I create exactly what I see. Sometimes I don't see anything and I start with few strokes and then it takes me anywhere.
And when you look at things around you, and then you mentioned also you also refer to some images from the internet. Do you store them somewhere, like in a sketchbook or like on your phone? Where do you
Uh,
store the ideas?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I do a little notes, but a lot of time it's stored in my mind.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
The so the challenge that could happen is, like, if it is stored in your memory, and if you want to create, I mean, if you create right away, then
Yeah,
it
yeah,
you may remember it.
right.
But if you create, let's say, 2 months later or 2 years later, then
That's
it's
true.
difficult to remember. So
That's true. But the thing is that I have so many in my head that always something comes up. So the problem is I have too many ideas, but I don't have the time to create them. So yeah, you're right. But anyway, I don't have the time for all the ideas. So whatever comes, I do it.
how do you? But then, has it ever happened to you that you have lost an idea that you
Yes,
wanted to?
many times. I remember something about the idea, but I don't remember exactly. Yes, yes. I
It
lost.
has that frustrated you? Like, what did you do in that
No,
situation?
no. I'm looking forward, so there will be many, many new ones. No.
Okay, okay. Um, but then, do you take uh, pictures, or do you write anything in your
I
notebook or anything like
I
that?
do take pictures. Yes,
Hmm.
I do take pictures. A few times I try to write it down, the idea, but it's losing. When you writing it, it, I don't know, it's not working for me very much.
Hmm.
But I could take like a picture of shadows and then I could see a colors that I like and then combine them. So two different things that I saw and then I put it in one piece.
For colors specifically, do you um, record like any color themes or color schemes in your head, or in some
Uh,
form at all?
yeah, it's everything is my head and picture also. I don't
Okay.
write about it. And sometimes also I like these two colors. If I see something, oh, I like those two colors, but I would like to add another one, not what they did. I'm gonna add something different.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Great. All right. So now let's talk about the creation part. So this was pre-creation. So now you are actually creating something. So what? I mean, you touched upon that a little bit when we started. So what tools and technology do you use for your creations?
okay. Um, so as I said, it's paper for the watercolors. There are a few different mediums. It's watercolor and there is ink, also watercolor based. So
Hmm.
the ink colors, they are more vibrant and strong. So when I like something that it's really, really rich in color, I use the inks. With the acrylics, I use canvas. Sometimes I paint on wood panels, not very often. And also I used paper for acrylics. Usually it's not very common, but sometimes I do use it. But the main is a canvas because I do like paintings for the interior. So
Hmm.
people prefer canvas, and when you use canvas, they don't need to put a frame,
Hmm.
so you can hang it straight.
Okay. So I want to expand on this a little bit, and the reason I want to expand it is because I was talking to some other painters, and they mentioned that um, they create a sketch first on paper or canvas.
Mhm.
They take a picture of it, put it in some digital software, and then try some things like try colors or try this whether this works or that works. And then once they make a decision on what they want to do, then they come back to the paper or canvas and then they paint. So it's basically pre-visualizing the creation before you actually create it. So
Yeah.
do you do
I
something like this at all?
I did a few times. I use this. I create small sketches only if I do commission work.
Hmm.
Usually I just um, start with a paint and go from there. I also don't use sketches. I don't draw with a pencil before. I just because every time I wanna do something new, I prefer to be kind of surprised. I prefer not to have it everything like then
Hmm.
you if you create everything on the computer, then you just copy and
Hmm.
create. I
Hmm.
don't like that.
Hmm.
I like the accidents and finding new things.
But then how do you undo if you want to undo something?
In watercolor, you can't. You just
Hmm.
throw it away. In acrylic, it's not a problem. You can go over and over layers, so it's not a big deal. But it takes more time.
Hmm.
So
But then in watercolor you said you cannot undo, so you have to throw it away. So
yeah.
has it ever happened to you that you have literally like created so many variations of the same thing that because you didn't like what you were trying to do, so what did you do in that situation?
No, no. If something I don't like, I jump to the next one. I don't try to. I tried few times,
Hmm.
but because I like the spontaneity, I it's okay for me to forget about it and start a new one.
Hmm.
I'm not of those that I have to get the perfect thing that I am thinking.
Hmm.
I have to. So no, I
Okay.
let it go.
So the reason I'm asking these questions is, I mean, I firmly believe that what digital technology has done for creators is
Mm-hmm.
it has given um, an ability to make a choice rather than a decision. So, uh, for example, if you are working on a canvas and if you put a stroke of paint
Yeah,
on canvas, then and if you want to try something different, you have to use another canvas because the art is inherently destructive. Like it's
that's
analog.
true.
But
That's true.
if you are working on a digital canvas, then you can put a stroke of paint, copy it, put it aside, change its color, change its form, and now you have a choice between the two.
That's
So
true.
that's why I was just wondering, and I love your answer that you actually like the spontaneity of the situation rather than creating a choice. You would like to make a decision whether it's a wrong one or right one. You don't care. You want to make a decision and then move on. So that's really great.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you also mentioned you so these are your physical paintings, but then you
Yeah.
also mentioned you scan them and then use them on some other product. So in that situation, how do you scan them?
So first, something for the watercolors that we talked before. So in this case, sometimes the watercolor can be safe.
Hmm.
So if I created a watercolor and I don't like something, let's say the flower that I did in the center is too small.
Hmm.
So after I scan it, I can enlarge some parts. So
Okay.
the flower that I did too small, now I can make it bigger. And actually this painting will be what I would like to see, but then it's a digital art, and this will be used for print and products. It's not going to be the physical original thing. So in that case, I do use all the programs and tools that we have now.
What do you use specifically?
Photoshop.
Okay. But then how do you scan? I mean, do you have like a big scanner?
Yeah. The scanning is a little bit frustrating because the scanners are small. I don't have the big scanner. So I need to scan separately, like a few half or quarter of the painting. Then I need to put together to match everything so it looks the whole thing. So, but I do use that.
So if you scan it in pieces and then if you want to stitch it together, do you use Photoshop for that, for stitching it together?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I make layers and then I put everything together and try to.
And then in Photoshop, if you want to modify your original painting, you could do that as well. That's what you're saying. Like you can change scale, you can change colors if you want to.
If I want to, yes. Yes.
And then the actual printing on products, is that what you do yourself or you use some service for it?
For the prints that are for wall art, I print myself. All the other things I use different companies.
But then the wall art prints, do you have like a big printer that you use?
I do maximum A3.
Okay.
So, and if someone wants a bigger one, so I can send it and they can print it for me.
But then when you say A3, that would still be on a paper. So whoever is using that for their wall, they will have to frame it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They need to frame it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, great. So now let's talk about the post-creation part. So after you have created your creations, what do you do with them? So my first question is, do you create a catalog for your creations?
No, which is bad. But I'm very productive and I have a lot of art. So for some of my creations, there is no need to create a catalog because it's one time. I don't go back to this. I or sell it or it stays somewhere. So I have enough to show what my style is, and I don't think anybody will look of those hundreds of images.
So the reason I asked is like sometimes your own creation can become inspiration for your next creation. So in that situation, then if you have recorded everything in a list or something like that, then it's easy to go back to your own creations that you have done a few years ago. So that's why I was asking, like, do you create a catalog for your creation?
That's true, but again, I have so many ideas that I first wanna get them out, and there is no time for going back. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then how do you market your creations? I mean, do you use social media?
I used to use it more, but I guess I'm not very good at this. And now not so much. For me, the best are the art festivals.
Okay.
I'm doing really good there. So, but I also would like to be able to do online. But so far, I'm not very successful with that.
Why is that? I mean, do you
I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
Most of the things that I post, only like my post circle,
Hmm.
people see it, and I don't get much of the outside of the circle interest. So I don't know, maybe it takes time. I'm not very consistent, that's true. Maybe
Hmm.
that's one of the reasons.
Hmm.
But I would love to do it, but not yet.
Okay. Um, from your like the uh, idea generation to your release and distribution of your creation,
Mhm.
from this in this entire process, what is the biggest challenge you face?
This is let's see, probably the part between posting it or showing it and the client, like finding the right people for my art,
Oh, okay.
finding the audience.
Hmm. So in the inspiration and creation part, you are pretty comfortable, but then for the actual
Yeah.
distribution is something that is challenging for you. Okay,
Yes.
got it. And how has digital technology impacted your creation process? Has it impacted your creation process at all? What impact has it made?
Um, it definitely helped. I'm working with digital tools very long time. Like I
Hmm.
started using Photoshop 20 years ago.
Hmm.
So then was really interesting and it was helping me a lot. Now I I kind of stay away a bit. First of all, because there are so many digital artists, and my first priority is the material
Hmm.
creation.
Hmm.
But definitely, if I need help to do something quick, it's the best tool,
Hmm.
like the digital, the
Hmm.
Photoshop, and then print. You can see something very quick, as you said. Like you can do changes without spending time and taking another canvas. So it definitely helps, but lately I'm not using it so much.
Okay. Um, do you use for your creations and again for the entire process, not just painting, have you created any automations or process improvements? Like, do you follow like a particular process and do you improve the process as you go?
Sometime, yes, when I did my website,
Hmm.
um, I figure out how to do some of those automated things.
Hmm.
Again, I'm not very good with that, but somehow I figure out few things because there are many, you need to post a lot of pictures, names, prices, things. So there I figure out a little bit, not
Okay.
too much.
Okay. And with the tools and technology that you see around you,
Mhm.
um, how do you see yourself creating in future? I mean, do you see yourself creating differently in future, or would you want to stay with whatever process that you are following right now?
I'm always open for new things, so I guess yes.
But then, do you have any vision for your creations?
In the future,
Hmm.
one of the thing is I wanna go much bigger, and then I think I will use more digital tools to help
Hmm.
me,
Hmm.
because trying on the big scale with the hands, it's much difficult and time consuming than see everything on the small like screen and do it on the small screen and then go to the big one. So in this case, I definitely will use digital tools.
So when you say bigger, you mean bigger creations or larger audience? Like what do you mean bigger?
I mean bigger creations,
Bigger creations. Okay.
bigger canvases, bigger art pieces.
Okay.
But that's a very nice comment. Getting the big audiences, it also would be very nice, but then it's getting the technical part that I'm not very good with. So I will be able to get to more customers that way.
Great. Thanks, Marietta, for all the discussion. It was great talking with you.
Thank you so much. So keep me posted about the when I'll check your website from time to time. I saw a few of your movies.
Okay.
So I really love them. So thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for tuning in. If you are a creator, I would love to talk with you. Please connect with me through my website or social media. See you in the next episode.